Tonight, NT Industries ready to reset as the vaccine mandate gets scrapped. The side hustle that brought an NTFL star undone and almost cost him a jail term. Why the Territory's crime crisis is forcing some residents to consider moving interstate. The common health hazard that's left a family devastated and demanding answers. And the covers come off the artwork for Supercars Indigenous Round in Darwin.
This is 9 News Darwin with Paul Taylor.
Good evening. The Northern Territory's controversial vaccine mandate is set to be scrapped. It's part of a raft of changes announced today by the Chief Minister, with the government's broad emergency powers to also become a thing of the past.
It's the final piece in the puzzle to unlocking pre-pandemic freedom.
In a week's time, we'll end the public health emergency and move forward to living with COVID in our community.
On June 16, the public health emergency will be over. 818 days since Natasha Files signed the declaration, affording the Chief Health Officer extraordinary powers to enforce lockdowns and lockouts, enact border closures, mandate masks, vaccines and vaccine passports.
Territorians have had 2 years of hard grind. They have done things we never thought that we would have to do.
Although the Northern Territory government is not letting go of all powers yet, recently passed legislation allows the Chief Health Officer to enforce stay-at-home orders if you test positive, while they also retain the ability to mandate masks and introduce vaccine mandates in high-risk settings.
We mustn't be complacent. It may well come up again. There may well be variants that come along, and that's why there are these additional powers that may be necessary.
With the end of the vaccination mandate, does the CHO need these extraordinary powers that he's being gifted with from the Labor government?
However, the mandate as we know it will end next Thursday. It will now be up to employers to decide if workers need to be jabbed. That news calls for cheers and celebration in the hospitality sector.
We think it will help that we're now nationalised on this.
We know it's busy around town, we know that it's busy right through the Territory, and this announcement comes at the best possible time.
Especially for traders like the Darwin Sailing Club, facing a never-before-seen shortage of workers.
So I'd say probably over the last 3 months, it's been the most challenging environment in my 20-year hospitality career for recruiting staff. Exacerbated
by other jurisdictions only requiring a double dose when the NT wanted 3.
We'd hope that today's decision is going to just open the Territory up to all the backpackers and interstate workers that might want to come up here.
It was also revealed that Howard Springs will cease operation. The shutdown is scheduled for next Thursday. A whopping 40,000 people have been through those gates for a 2-week stay. Today, there's not a single person inside.
We will ensure for at least the next 12 months we have the ability, if we were to need that resource, to stand it up.
The Marara Vaccine Clinic will also close down. Last jabs on June 30. From July 1, COVID-19 vaccines can be acquired through GPs and pharmacies.
We talked a lot throughout COVID about the new normal, and this really is the new normal. COVID-19 is a part of our lives.
But no longer in a state of emergency. Jack Hahn, 9 News.
A high-profile Northern Territory football player has narrowly avoided a jail sentence today. The court heard Wanderers vice-captain Simon Bates became caught up in street-level drug dealing for commercial gain.
Footballer, now drug dealer, Simon Bates wasn't sure whether he would leave court free or in cuffs.
Simon, you must be incredibly happy with today.
The 29-year-old admitted to possessing a trafficable quantity of MDMA and supplying less than a commercial quantity of cocaine, offences which carry a combined maximum penalty of more than 20 years. Bates also pleaded guilty to attempting to destroy evidence after flushing drugs down the toilet when police knocked on his door. Today supported by Muck Muck's coach, Aaron Motlop.
And would Wanderers like to make any comment? Does Simon Bates have a future with the club?
The court heard the time the drugs were found in April, Bates was not the target of the police raid and was a much smaller time player. If you supply, you will be punished, Justice Woodcock said. I do take into account his drug use and his mental health challenges that have led him to the door today.
The Wanderers star shook his head when he heard the words 6 months imprisonment before learning that the entire sentence would be suspended. You must be pleased with today's outcome?
Oh look, I've got nothing to say on the matter. Thanks for that.
Amy Clements, 9 News.
Escalating home invasions and the loss of prized possessions is pushing some Territorians to the brink. Residents are being forced to spend thousands on security, but even that isn't stopping the intruders.
It's an all too familiar scene. Intruders scoping out homes, seemingly unfazed by the high-level security around the premises, a weekly occurrence for some residents.
To live in Alice, it's such a common thing now where, every night I think nearly every resident will be on edge of what's going to happen tonight.
Car windows smashed in, vehicles left destroyed. This car in Karama, the keys stolen the night before the thieves made a return.
They've hit my camper trailer, they've reversed into one of my fences, and then they've completely taken out my second fence to the point where it was scattered across the road and my house is now unsecure.
Feeling so unsafe, he is considering moving from the Territory.
I've now got exterior locks on my mother's bedroom door because she's that scared at night to keep a bit of comfort, but if they can get in our exterior doors now, how much comfort is it really giving her?
Residents are tired of living in fear, forced to spend thousands of dollars on security to feel some sense of safety in their own home, calling on authorities to step up and to increase patrols around areas of concern.
I'm in now $2,000 for install the system and the install all up, but $2,000 is cheaper than a stolen car.
While grants are available to improve security for businesses, residents are calling for funding to help homeowners. George Dickerson, 9 News.
They are the men and women on the front line we call upon to serve and protect our communities. But tonight, the question that's being asked, who protects their families when they're let down by the system?
Sienna Santiago, 8 years old and fighting for her life.
She cried herself to sleep every day, absolutely heartbroken. I'm heartbroken talking to you right now.
Her father, Stephen Thompson, was an NT police officer serving on the Tiwi Islands. He lived with his young family in police housing, but that house was riddled with mould.
Vital organs shut down. She came out of there 2 hours later off full life support.
They moved to Pillangympie in April 2017 and for the next 2 years repeatedly reported the mould to police management, as did the remote sergeant on the island.
The more this unravels, it wasn't just Stephen and his family, it's gone on before then as well.
By March 2019, Sienna's life hung in the balance. 11 days in ICU, 5 weeks at RDH and months of rehab, with devastating consequences.
Those disabilities are possibly going to be lifelong.
A report conducted after Sienna's hospitalisation found very high levels of mould were identified throughout the house, which constitute a hazard to health, and entry to the premises is restricted, and those who enter should be wearing PPE. Former police officer Mark Turner wrote to the Attorney General on behalf of his former constituent.
Sick to my stomach, and it's more as a father. Your job is to protect your children.
In a statement, WorkSafe says they're now investigating after new information had come to light, alleging the issue of mould was reported to NT Police before the child was admitted to hospital, and detailing the deterioration of the child's health, including the medical opinion confirming the probable link of their illness to mould exposure. 9 News contacted Mr Thompson's former employer today. However, in a statement, NT Police said WorkSafe is investigating the matter and it's not appropriate until they complete their inquiries.
We've had no compensation from NT Police, and as I say, they've never admitted that they failed us by ignoring our calls for help.
ICAC has also been notified. Amy Sinclair, 9 News.
No quick fixes and no silver bullet. That's the message from the federal government as the nation confronts an energy crisis. Commonwealth, state and territory energy ministers have agreed on a plan to store gas for peak demand and to ensure the lights stay on at an affordable price as the power grid moves towards renewables.
Australia's eastern electricity market has hit a perfect storm.
The war in the Ukraine, a lot of coal-fired power stations going offline, major problems of supplying coal.
The supply crunch in fuel and generation has driven a surge in power prices. The gas price is also soaring because it's linked to the international market price, and its supply has been constrained by state government bans on exploration and development.
Victoria is starting to run out of gas, and AEMO has warned, they were warning that next winter Victoria could run into some problems with enough gas.
Commonwealth and state energy ministers have agreed on an 11-step plan to try and tackle the crisis, but there are no quick fixes.
I think people understand that a decade of delay and denial is not fixed in one meeting, and there is no silver bullet.
The Energy Security Board will fast-track a redesign of the way the electricity market operates, which was slated for 2025.
To progress the capacity mechanism process.
A capacity market works like an insurance policy, paying a generator to guarantee a certain amount of electricity will be available on demand. That can't be done by 2025 without including coal and gas generators. On the Eastern National Electricity Market today, estimated peak demand is about 33,000 megawatts. 56% of that will be met by brown and black coal generators and 10% by gas.
But no government wants to admit that it will effectively have to subsidise coal generators to keep the lights on. So that tough call has been outsourced to the Energy Security Board with some writing instructions.
And that includes ensuring that it supports new technologies, renewable energy and storage.
The Australian energy market operator will also be given the power to buy and store gas to be sold at times of peak demand. And there will be some hard conversations with the gas industry.
I'm not worried about putting anyone's noses out of joint. My priority is to make sure there is affordable and adequate supply of gas for the southern states of Australia.
Chris Ullman, 9 News.
New Zealand PM Jacinda Ardern has just touched down in Sydney, the first foreign leader to be hosted by the new federal government. She'll join Anthony Albanese for dinner this evening before bilateral trade talks tomorrow. Climate change and China's rising influence are expected to be among the hot topics. A car has ploughed into a busy shopping strip in Berlin, leaving a teacher dead and injuring 14 people. Terrified locals unfolding close to the scene of one of Europe's deadliest vehicle attacks.
A popular city street in chaos and lives shattered. People laying motionless on the road, and while witnesses try to understand what just happened.
Oh God.
Moments earlier, this car swerved onto the pavement of the busy West Berlin shopping strip. It ploughed through crowds and continued to drive hundreds of metres before smashing into a shopfront. Pedestrians flagged down paramedics while others helped those injured on the ground. A 51-year-old teacher leading a school excursion was killed. Also injured several students and a pregnant woman.
And we just saw the carnage.
Actor John Barrowman watched it unfold.
The car came down onto the pavement, then has come onto the road over there, has hit somebody, and come back onto the pavement and gone through a bunch of people.
Behind the wheel, a 29-year-old man with dual German-Armenian citizenship, believed to be known to police. Please help, he says, before being taken away. Police say the driver tried to run off but was grabbed by passers-by. The scene is only 1 block away from a church next to which 12 people were killed in 2016 when a terrorist drove a truck through a Christmas market. The same church hosted a memorial service for today's victims, a priest lamenting the horrible repetition. Our lives are darkened because brutal violence has broken into the lives of helpless people, she says. A government minister says evidence suggests the driver was a mentally ill person running amok. In London, Brett McLeod, 9 News.
The British Prime Minister has faced a hostile House of Commons after surviving his no confidence vote. Boris Johnson appeared upbeat, claiming his political career has barely begun.
He needs to wake up to reality. Prime Minister, it's over. It's done.
In a long political career so far, I have, of course, picked up, barely begun, I have, of course, picked up political opponents all over the place.
40% of his party voted against the PM. He stepped off a school bus and vanished. Tonight, there's a startling new twist in the disappearance of an 11-year-old boy in Sydney's northwest. Crews spent the night searching for Christopher Wilson in near freezing conditions. The schoolboy eventually found 5 kilometres from home. But it's his father who's now the focus of police, arrested on separate drug-related matters.
Wrapped up in a stranger's arms, a lost boy found. 11-year-old Christopher Wilson on the side of an Annangrove road, cold but safe.
Driving to work, yeah, and just spotted him out the corner of my eye. I just saw on social media, I saw his face, so I recognised him straight away.
Ran down and I said, "Christopher, is that you?" And he goes, "Yes."
He was given a cookie, some water, and his hands warmed up. The boy oblivious to the search that had been happening around him.
I went up to him, told him everyone was looking for him. He seemed quite shocked, very quiet, but he also seemed pretty intact and pretty healthy.
There's no visible injuries to Christopher, so it looks like at this stage just a possible mild hypothermia.
Christopher had been missing since yesterday afternoon. Police have told 9 News an incident at school earlier in the day may have been why he wandered off. He got off the school bus around 3:20 p.m, but he didn't go home.
Overnight, he obviously put his head down somewhere, we think in some bushland.
The Year 5 student was captured on CCTV just before 5 p.m, 4 kilometres from his home. Search parties working through the night, desperate to find Christopher safe. This is where little Christopher was found, standing in the bushes on the side of the road. He'd spent the night here in temperatures that dipped to just 4 degrees. But in a twist, hours after the 11-year-old was found, his father was arrested for unrelated drug matters. Police finding what they allege are multiple marijuana plants inside his house. Tonight, though, it's a warm bed after a cold night for Christopher, now recovering in hospital. Lauren Tomasi, 9 News.
The Darwin Triple Crown will have a new look this year, from pit lane to the track and as far as the eye can see. First Nations artwork will be on display. And as Georgie Dickerson explains, one local artist is set to be front and centre.
The first Indigenous round of the Supercars Championship will kick off next Friday. To mark the occasion, the finishing touches are being put on this artwork, designed by Larrakia artist Jason Lee. 70 metres long and spanning across the side of the track. The artwork features a crocodile, a main totem for Larrakia people, as well as a barramundi. Jason and his team have spent the past few days transforming the wall, every detail sprayed out, battling with the heat and the elements to ensure every area is perfect.
I think it's extremely important to showcase Larrakia culture and artwork.
The trophies designed by the team will feature Larrakia artwork, as well as the volunteer and official shirts. Supercars teams have been busy too, updating their livery for the Indigenous round.
I think the car looks fantastic. You know, when I saw it here for the first time this morning, I was shocked. I love it. Hopefully we can keep it for the rest of the year.
As a lasting legacy, the artwork will be a permanent fixture at the track.
Pretty cool. Speaking of cool, it's time for a quick look at the weather with Amy Clements. Amy, Darwin shivered through a relatively cool morning.
That's right, PT. I was even a little bit cold on my morning walk, the temperature dropping to 22 degrees, but it felt more like 19.9 degrees in Darwin to be exact. And that's all thanks to a dry surge arriving from the southeast with coastal wind warnings in place for most of the top end today. But will these breezy conditions stick around? Well, PT, I will have your full weather forecast a little later.
I will be right here waiting. Thank you, Amy. Ahead in 9 News, police make their move, ending a marathon Gold Coast standoff. Chris Dawson's twin brother takes the stand as secret phone tapes are played in court. And disgraced Hollywood producer Harvey Weinstein facing fresh assault allegations.
Talk about airing your dirty laundry. The neighbourhood dispute hung out for all to see.
Did you cut the trees on his side?
No! A current affair tonight.
The final 2 weeks are here. And with the finish line so close, I can't deal with this anymore! Things are about to get crazy.
Let's just fire this.
Monday, we're going viral.
We are doing a viral video, which has to be funny. Crickets.
Your one wouldn't go viral if it came out the Wuhan laboratory.
And for the first time ever, the boss meets his match. Sugar versus Shark.
And I want your opinion, and I'll give it to you.
Celebrity Apprentice, Monday 7:30 on 9.
Get your woolies worth with Australian fresh specials, like RSPCA-approved fresh chicken drumsticks from the deli. Now just $3 a kilo. Save $1.50 a kilo. Making fresh more affordable. That's today's fresh food people.
On now at Choice Main. Samsung Galaxy A23 now $348. Acer Spin 2-in-1 laptop $596. Or save $100 on the Acer Aspire 5. Plus bonus gift card. At Choice Main now.
The Darwin Golf Club is the top end's hidden gem for your next special occasion. With a children's playground, 5 function spaces and sweeping views of the golf course, it's the perfect place for your next event, big or small. Host your next event at the Darwin Golf Club. Book now.
The moment when you've realised you've made a difference in a student's life is extremely rewarding. If I was going to give my younger self some advice, I'd say, go with your gut. Charles Darwin University is the perfect study environment. You study online, but with loads of practicals at real schools, which are close to your home. Thanks to Charles Darwin Uni, you hit the ground running and you'll never look back. So what are you waiting for?
Get the most out of your outdoor living space this season with quality furniture, barbecue smokers, coolers, accessories and more from Barbecues Galore Darwin. With a wide range of great stock now available, come in and check out our extensive range, including the popular Ziggy series of portable barbecues. For all things outdoor living, you can trust the local experts at Barbecues Galore Darwin. Stewart Highway, Berrima, next to Amart. Step outside and live.
A marathon standoff between Queensland Police and 2 wanted men is finally over. The pair stayed holed up in a home on the Gold Coast for 20 hours, shutting down streets and forcing locals to sleep in their cars.
A dramatic standoff coming to an end after almost 20 hours. 2 men surrendering, in custody and driven to the watch house. The siege and negotiations went on throughout the night. The exclusion zone in place, residents locked down, watching from their windows.
They got out of the car with like helmets on and they pulled out the assault rifles, and I was like, well, something serious is going on.
Some caught out, unable to go home.
So you've slept in the car?
Yeah, and it's freezing. I've got an 87-year-old mother at home that I want to get to, but hey, you just got to go with the flow, I suppose.
Frustrations showing and growing.
Sucks because I can't get home, but safety's #1 priority.
I left the house to go and get some groceries, to watch the footy, and they let me out and I couldn't get back in.
Where did you sleep last night?
I haven't.
This is the home where the standoff unfolded. Police say the homeowners were known to the 2 men who had barricaded themselves inside. A glass door shattered when police tried to serve return to prison warrants.
One of the people did have a bracelet and they had removed it in recent days.
They wouldn't say if the pair were armed, if they'd made any threats or were involved in 2 recent Gold Coast drive-by shootings.
Those matters are continuing to be investigated by our detectives.
By late morning, the barricades coming down, finally. After a day and night of drama, life in this Nerang street returning to normal. Chloe Robinson, 9 News.
Sensational claims have been made at the murder trial of Chris Dawson, identical twin Paul, pointing the finger at his brother's schoolgirl lover. A secret phone tap was played to the court where it was suggested the family babysitter had a motive to kill Lynette Dawson.
800 kilometres from his brother, but as close as ever. Paul Dawson giving evidence for a second day from Tweed Heads, describing Chris as the least violent man he's ever met. Bombshell claims emerging from a secret phone tap at the twins from 1999 after Paul had been grilled by detectives over the disappearance of his sister-in-law Lynette.
He implied that something's happened to Lynn and that you had the motive. So they think something's happened to Lynn, I had the motive, so they're going to search the property and do sorts of things, and well, good luck to them. If anyone had a motive, Had more motive.
Paul Dawson doubling down under questioning. If Lynn had been murdered, JC had the motive. JC had more to gain, and JC did gain more than Chris ever gained from their relationship. The twin remembering a conversation with now dead family friend Elva McBay, who told him Lynn had been threatened at a birthday party. JC just said if she got in her way, she'd get rid of her. Paul Dawson's been keeping a close eye on media reports of his twins' trial, describing allegations of violence by Chris as most outrageous. He said in the 17 years his brother and Lynette were together, he never even heard a derogatory comment.
Either Lynn's somewhere with a whole new life, or something happened. I mean, I know, she could be anywhere.
More than 40 years on, there's still no trace of the mother of two. Tiffany Genders, 9 News.
Former Hollywood producer Harvey Weinstein, already serving a 23-year jail term for sexual assault, is to be charged by British prosecutors over 2 more allegations that he indecently abused a woman, now in her 50s, in London in 1996. Weinstein's also awaiting trial on charges he assaulted 5 women in Los Angeles between 2004 and 2013. The death toll from the train crash in Iran continues to rise, now 21, with more than 50 other passengers injured, some critically. The train apparently hit an excavator working beside the rail line. At least 5 carriages were derailed. Helicopters carrying rescue teams were first to reach the isolated site in an eastern province. In the news ahead, a young driver charged after a crash that killed a grandfather, 3 people still on the run. Boxing star Justice Hooney in shock after his home is sprayed with bullets. And a compelling call for change, a schoolgirl recounts the horror of the Uvalde massacre to US lawmakers.
Torture, assaults, breaches of every single right. It's not alleged, the footage exists.
We've seen the footage.
Yes.
Sunday at 7, Australia's worst secrets will be blown wide open.
How many were reported to the police?
None.
3 major news teams, 1 shocking investigation.
I'm absolutely terrified.
Sunday at 7.
Silks Darwin, Darwin's premier licensed club and gaming venue, featuring the Track Restaurant, Gaming Lounge, Sports Bar and the Territory's largest rooftop deck. Try our $15 lunch specials Monday to Friday and the $15 dinner specials Monday to Thursday. Enjoy the Silks 421 happy hour every Friday and live entertainment Friday and Saturday nights. There's a $2,500 monthly mega raffle and a weekly $1,000 members draw. Silks Darwin, Dickwood Drive, Fanny Bay.
Now at Harvey Norman, Westinghouse multifunction oven with air fry, just $898. The stylish black glass Fisher & Paykel pyrolytic oven, $1,498. Or this great deal on a Smeg freestanding cooker with 5-year warranty at Harvey Norman now.
The wait is over. Crowded House returned to Australia with the Dreamers Awaiting Tour. Featuring all the hits from their iconic career, plus music from the new album Dreamers Awaiting. Don't miss Crowded House live at the Darwin Convention Centre touring this October. For tickets and info, go to livenation.com.au.
The Rotary Club of Darwin's $1 Million Hole-in-One. An exciting golf competition with a grand prize of $1 million up for grabs. Held every Wednesday night at Gardens Park Golf Club from April 27th to July 13th. There'll be food and bar facilities available with weekly prizes on offer. Don't miss the highlight of the event with the $1 Million Final Shootout on July 13th. All proceeds go towards the No More campaign and the Rotary Junior Sports Foundation. Get your game on at the Rotary Club of Darwin's $1 Million Hole-in-One.
Whoa. The future.
Kia, movement that inspires.
Strap yourself in.
Watch the birdie.
For 9's Top Gun movie event. See Maverick in the original Top Gun blockbuster. Sunday at 9 on 9.
Furious police have described 3 passengers who fled the scene of a deadly crash in Melbourne as cowards. The trio left a 69-year-old grandfather to die, the alleged driver tonight behind bars. Adam Hegarty reports.
There was no surviving this mangled mess. Airbags deployed, but the driver's side crumpled. It's hard to fathom the final moments of 69-year-old grandfather Sadat Hassan, left to die.
They've just taken the cowardly act. You know, it's a real bastard act to leave a person dying on the side of the road as a result of a collision you've been involved in.
Security vision shows the impact, then that cowardice. Up to 3 passengers in the other cars seemingly panicking back and forth before fleeing on foot. As Mr Hassan lay dying and the alleged driver stayed put, the chilling bang heard from afar.
When I look at the window there, I wasn't able to see any accident at all, right? But I was able to see one guy running.
Mr Hassan had been driving home just before 1 o'clock this morning. The white Audi didn't give way at this Sunshine West intersection, slamming both vehicles into 2 parked cars. Allegedly behind the wheel, 22-year-old Alicia Fagan, arrested to front court. Police say she wouldn't give up the passengers or give her real name. She's also charged with carrying a weapon, breaching bail and drug offences. But she tried to help.
She definitely did help, yeah, absolutely, yeah. Why the other 3 didn't help is beyond my comprehension. It is quite possible that this man could have been saved if they remained.
Mr Hassan's nephew visiting the scene, the rest of his family lost for words, and a neighbourhood reeling with them.
Think of the family that's involved. You know, lots of lives have been affected this morning, and we kept them in our prayers.
The Brisbane home of Aussie heavyweight champion Justice Hooney has been hit in a drive-by shooting. The boxer and 9 others, including a baby, were asleep when around 5 shots were fired into the lounge room at 4 this morning. No one was injured. An 11-year-old girl has revealed the drastic action she took to survive the Uvalde school massacre. The student addressed US Congress, saying she's terrified to be at school, worried it'll happen again.
From Uvalde to Capitol Hill, Mia Cerrillo reliving the horror of the day a gunman stormed her grade 4 classroom.
Shot my teacher and told my teacher goodnight and shot her in the head.
Revealing she hid behind school bags, watching as her friends were murdered.
He shot my friend that was next to me, and I thought he was going to come back to the room, so I grabbed the blood and put it all over me.
10-year-old Lexi Rubio was among the dead, killed just hours after her parents attended her awards ceremony.
To celebrate, we promised to get her ice cream that evening.
While Uvalde's only paediatrician described the horrific scene in his ER.
2 children whose bodies have been pulverized by bullets fired at them, decapitated.
Damage done by an AR-15.
Do you feel safe at school? Why not?
Because I don't want it to happen again.
And it will, without significant changes. The Democrat-controlled House today endorsed a bill that would raise the minimum age to buy a semi-automatic weapon from 18 to 21. But without the support of Republicans in the Senate, it has next to no chance of becoming law. The US president appearing on late-night talk show Jimmy Kimmel Live, defending his lack of action.
Why haven't we done anything about this?
Well, I think a lot of it's intimidation by the NRA and...
Can't you issue an executive order? Trump passed those out like Halloween candy.
Yes, sir. What I don't want to do, and I'm not being facetious, I don't want to emulate Trump's abuse of the Constitution.
Leaving victims' families to fear their pleas, like so many before them, will go unanswered.
Somewhere out there, there's a mom listening to our testimony, not knowing that our reality will one day be hers, unless we act now.
In the United States, Amelia Adams, 9 News.
The Queen of Gymnastics, American Olympian Simone Biles, is among 90 women and girls suing the FBI for $1.4 billion over sexual abuse inflicted by their former team doctor Larry Nassar. They claim many of Nassar's victims could have been spared if federal investigators had not mishandled the case. Each has made a personal claim of almost $70 million. 8 men accused of stealing an artwork by anonymous street artist Banksy face trial in Paris. The mural was painted on the door of the Bataclan Theatre, a special tribute to honour 90 people killed in the 2015 terror attacks. A court heard it took the group just minutes to steal the door in 2019 using a crowbar and angle grinder. It was found by police years later. That is a year later, thousands of kilometres away in an abandoned farmhouse in Italy. Sir David Attenborough is certainly one of nature's gentlemen, recognised now with his second knighthood for services to conservation and his long career in broadcasting. Prince Charles elevated the naturalist into the prestigious order of the Knight Grand Cross of the Order of St Michael and St George in a ceremony at Windsor Castle overnight. 96-year-old Attenborough was first knighted by the Queen back in 1985. Still ahead in 9 News, a startling US study linking melanoma and eating fish, why experts here aren't worried. How a serial thief accidentally dobbed himself in while bragging about his crimes. And the new technology helping little Ethan fuel his love of Lego.
The Lycra lady lifting more than weights. While Vincent's distracted, she strikes. And that's no bicep curl, but she's not finished. Arms up for bag number 2. It disappears, and she's in and out with a heavier load in under a minute.
That's pretty low.
And this wasn't her only special workout. A current affair next.
Now at Harvey Norman, Cobar 7-piece timber dining suite, just $1,494. Bardo 3-seater fabric sofa with powered recliners, great value at $2,399. Florence 3-seater leather sofa, only $2,799 at Harvey Norman now.
Join us at Mindle Beach Casino Resort for your chance to win a cornucopia of cash. We have an abundance of cash prizes to be won every Saturday and every Sunday. Entry is free. Simply collect your wristband on arrival. Lucky North Club members who earn 100 points on the day can receive 2 extra entries. Join us for your chance to win a cornucopia of cash this weekend at Mindle Beach Casino Resort.
The moment when you've realised you've made a difference in a student's life is extremely rewarding. If I was going to give my younger self some advice, I'd say, go with your gut. Charles Darwin University is the perfect study environment. You study online, but with loads of practicals at real schools, which are close to your home. Thanks to Charles Darwin Uni, you hit the ground running and you'll never look back. So what are you waiting for?
From first property search to first inquiry, first inspection to fourth bid, first on the dotted line to second investment, first home to third home. We put you first. Benefit firsthand from our local experience. First National Real Estate. We put you first.
Visit the top end and immerse yourself in the diverse range of festivals and events.
Explore like a local and visit the markets in Darwin.
What's your favourite film under the stars here in Darwin?
Explore festivals and events in Kakadu.
Experience festivals and events in Arnhem Land.
Seeking different? Seek a top-end holiday guide and book your holiday at 6 Bennett Street, Darwin, or visit tourismtopend.com.au.
Get the most out of your outdoor living space with Barbecues Galore. Great range of stock now available, including outdoor furniture and the Ziggy series of portable barbecues. Barbecues Galore. Stewart Highway, Berrima, next to Amart.
At Joyce May, get 60 months interest-free, no deposit, no interest with 60 approximately equal monthly payments from Latitude and get a bonus gift card up to $1,000. Shop Cracker deals store-wide plus bonus gift cards on 60 months interest-free at Joyce May now.
It's the challenge that has to be seen to be believed.
The most deranged thing I have ever seen.
Celebrity Apprentice, Monday on 9.
A study in the US has drawn a possible link between eating fish and developing malignant melanoma. Researchers found those who ate around half a can of tuna a day were 22% more likely to develop the potentially deadly skin cancer than people who rarely ate fish. But Australian experts say it is not a concern for cause, as it's believed contaminants in foreign waters are to blame.
For people living in Australia, please eat more fish. The level of contaminants in Australian fish are very, very low compared to world average.
The study also did not take into account mole count, hair colour and history of severe sunburn. A Melbourne dad's manufacturing healthy packaged snacks for children from fruit which would otherwise be thrown out. Chippy apples are also helping parents beat the lunchbox police.
Convincing children to eat enough fruit and veg is a common source of frustration for parents.
People always say to you things like, just give a kid an apple, and I mean, a lot of those people don't have kids. Kids are very fussy.
So Richmond father of two, Phil Gomazel, and Cobram farmer John Mantovani have created chippy apples. These are vacuum-dried slices of fruit with the texture of chips and without added sugar or other processed ingredients.
My son was like, oh, this is just like a chippy. It's a chippy apple.
As a family business as well, to know that we've sort of grown something ourselves and Aussie made and everything.
These slightly imperfect apples are used to make the chips, fruit which would otherwise be discarded because it doesn't meet the strict standards of the grocery giants.
We like to say that we're making ugly fruit beautiful. We're taking the fruit that's been rejected by the supermarkets.
The packet apples are so far passing scrutiny by the lunchbox police in force across many schools.
It's allergen free. There's no dairy, there's no egg, there's no nuts.
Ordinary fruit is still cheaper. These cost around $3.95 per packet. Raw fruit, of course, remains the healthiest option, but the advantage of the packet version is it won't bruise or turn bad when bumping around in a school bag all day. So, how do they taste?
Crunchy and appley.
Emily Rice, 9 News.
The magic of Legos come to life for a 9-year-old boy who's legally blind. Ethan Pridham has been building for a long time, but today he was gifted new technology to help him better see his handiwork.
Fresh off a plane from Adelaide into a mini Melbourne. A magical sight made even clearer thanks to these eSight goggles.
I liked how I could see them enlarged.
The grade 4 student is legally blind and lives with ocular albinism, which means his vision is blurry and out of focus.
He can't see the diagrams properly and how to put the pieces together. Sometimes the pieces are just too small and too fiddly for his fingers and he can't see them properly, but it doesn't stop him.
And it sounds like there's nothing Ethan can't build.
A giraffe, an aeroplane with a tiger or a lion, and the lucky last one, which is the boat with the crocodile.
You've made all of that?
Yes.
Ethan is the lucky recipient of the device worth $10,000, and it'll help him with more than just building Lego.
It allows Ethan to magnify through a lens and be able to see and experience things like anyone else can.
And the good news is other children who have a vision impairment and love Lego will be able to loan out the same device here at the Discovery Centre.
All you need to do is book online and you'll be able to reserve your spot for the eSight device.
Something to smile or dance about. Oh, you even bring some dance moves. Madeline Slattery, 9 News.
With this evidence stacked against him, a British car thief has practically ensured he'd be convicted. The 28-year-old caught on the vehicle's dashcam bragging about his crime on the phone to a friend.
I've just stopped the car and I'm taking it for a joyride, boy. I've torn his car, man, I'm driving it, boy.
The man was handed a suspended sentence in order to complete community service. Coming up in sport, only 9 News can take you inside the Maroon sheds as they celebrate Game 1 glory. And as Brett Kamali takes over as coach, the Tigers skipper reveals who's to blame for Michael Maguire's sacking.
Origin's big guns are back. Try for an electrifying showdown. Beautiful footy. Friday, the Red Hot Cowboys shoot it out with the Dragons. Blockbuster Friday night footy. Oh! Cowboys Dragons, live and free on 9.
Great Northern Darwin Cup Carnival. 8 days of racing featuring the $200,000 Great Northern Darwin Cup. Get your tickets now at darwinturfclub.org.au.
Now at Harvey Norman, LG 10 kilo front load washer with steam, now $895. LG bottom mount fridge, now $1,195. Bonus $300 gift card on the Samsung Family Hub French door fridge at Harvey Norman now.
The Rotary Club of Darwin's $1 Million Hole-in-One. An exciting golf competition with a grand prize of $1 million up for grabs. Held every Wednesday night at Gardens Park Golf Club from April 27th to July 13th. There'll be food and bar facilities available with weekly prizes on offer. Don't miss the highlight of the event with the $1 Million final shootout on July 13th. All proceeds go towards the No More campaign and the Rotary Junior Sports Foundation. Get your game on at the Rotary Club of Darwin's $1 Million Hole-in-One.
The wait is over. Crowded House returned to Australia with the Dreamers Awaiting Tour. Featuring all the hits from their iconic career, plus music from the new album Dreamers Awaiting. Don't miss Crowded House live at the Darwin Convention Centre touring this October. For tickets and info, go to livenation.com.au.
Don't just get a forklift, get Toyota's legendary reliability. Get world-leading safety. Get more uptime.
And get more value for your business.
Don't just get a forklift, give your business the Toyota Forklift Advantage.
Are you sharing your home with ants, cockroaches, spiders or rats? With Quack Pest Control, we can help get your property back. With our yearly treatments and reminders, your home can remain pest-free. Specialising in domestic and commercial applications, with over 50 years of Territory family experience, call our friendly staff today. Quack Pest Control. All our patients die.
This year in the top end, trackside pride will ignite at the Merlin-Darwin Triple Crown with the first official Indigenous round of the Supercars Championship, June 17 to 19. Hearts will race. Book now.
This sports report brought to you by Harvey Norman. Shop online, mobile or in-store today.
He tormented the Blues for a decade, and just when they thought they were regaining the Origin ascendancy, Billy Slater has come back to haunt New South Wales. The Maroons legend dismissing concerns over his coaching credentials with a rousing Game 1 victory. And tonight, only 9 News takes you behind the scenes with the victorious Queensland team.
For the first time in 5 years, the Maroons are leaving Sydney with an Origin victory as Queenslanders realise that where there's a bill, there's a way.
Great performance, wasn't it? Like, there was so much adversity and players out on the field that were just out on their feet, and we didn't have interchanges to change them, and I'm just really proud of them.
The start of the Billy Slater coaching era calls for celebration, but more nerve-wracking than he anticipated.
Yeah, a little bit more animated than I thought I was going to be.
I think what Billy brings is he brings a connection back to the Queensland jersey.
Billy's kids didn't act like debutants, with Selwyn Cobbo setting up a crucial try, Jeremiah Nanai playing through the pain of an ankle injury, Ruben Cotter an 80-minute Ironman, and Pat Carrigan delivering enormous impact off the bench.
It still hasn't sunk in. This whole week hasn't sunk in.
Unreal. The feeling of running out was the best feeling I've ever experienced.
I don't even know what to say. I'm lost for words right now, yeah.
Entrusted with a leadership role in the new look Maroons, Cameron Munster thrived in enemy territory.
I've been used to it my whole life. No one likes me, especially in Sydney.
There was no celebratory drink, with the 5/8 sticking to his self-imposed boozed ban.
Nah, mate, off it. Nah, I don't drink anymore, mate. It's for the best. I love not just game day with money. I love what the week brings with him. He's a larrikin. He's a good fella. He's a good person, and he cares about his teammates.
In a tense 16-10 victory, this is the moment the Maroons Inner Sanctum honoured as their play of the match for the desperation and courage showcased by Val Holmes.
Yeah, that changes the game if he doesn't do that.
That was one special moment from Val, and he was massive for us tonight.
The way we handled it, no one complained about anything. Everyone did their job, and goes to show, that's that Queensland spirit.
The Maroons' outstanding success here in Sydney means they can wrap up the series without even playing a match in Queensland, with Game 2 to be contested in Perth. Until then, there's some well-earned family time, especially for Reuben Cotter, who's about to cap off the best week of his life by becoming a father for the first time.
To play Origin and have a kid in the same week is, you know, something not too many people get to do.
Adam Jackson, 9 News.
West Tigers players are holding themselves accountable for the sacking of coach Michael Maguire. As the side returns to Campbelltown this weekend, there's one potential coach the Tigers captain would love to reunite with.
A day to remember for these Camden kids. In a week to forget for the club.
I spoke to Madge. I said, mate, we don't have to look far to blame anyone. With ourselves as players, we just got to look in the mirror.
The players feel responsible for their mentors' drawn-out demise.
Madge is not the one that runs out in the field and puts in those performances. It's us players, so you know, we're the ones to blame.
After 3.5 seasons, it hurts them that Maguire didn't have the chance to say goodbye.
I think a few boys were, you know, a bit taken back and sort of was a bit unexpected.
I wanted Madge to be the coach, but obviously, us players we don't really get what we want. It's up to the club and the board.
Bosses now have time to sound out their wish list, with Panthers assistant Cameron Ciraldo firmly at the top.
That'll be unreal for Ciro. You know, I love the Tigers and I love Ciro, and for that to come together, you know, it'll be the perfect storm.
Tamo has seen Ciraldo's hard work pay off.
The respect he has, he's built that there, you know, coming through the young junior system. I don't think he wants to leave that too early.
Penrith bound Luke Garner hopes he doesn't leave at all.
Yeah, I think it's pretty selfish of me to say that. I want him to stay there, and hopefully he doesn't come to this club.
The group got a first taste of life under Brett Comorley this afternoon in Campbelltown, taking his first official training session as interim coach.
What's happened, and it's unfortunate. But for us, we've just got to put all that energy moving forward to the weekend.
Tom Marriott, 9 News.
Well, he's yet to declare whether he wants the job full-time, but Giants caretaker coach Mark McVeigh is embracing the role. He was handballed following Leon Cameron's departure. 1-1 from his 2 matches so far. McVeigh will be looking to tip the ledger at the expense of a former mentor. Tony Jones explains.
Although just 2 games into his senior coaching stint, Mark McVeigh looks every bit the coach. Yet another transformation in the footballing life of the one-time spiky blonde who was the darling of Bomber fans. Much of his time at Windy Hill was spent under Kevin Sheedy. Sheedy went on to become the Giants' inaugural coach, and it stood to reason that McVeigh turned to him when he became the club's newest coach.
I've met with Sheeds, I've met with Sheeds once in Sydney, and it was great, and just asked his advice on a few things, and he was fantastic, very forthright, what I should do.
The Essendon connection is strong at the Giants these days. James Hird and Dean Solomon have joined McVeigh in the coach's box. Both McVeigh and Hird were banished from the game because of the supplement saga, and McVeigh says it's time for Hird to be given some clean air.
Some things were wrong, they apologised for them. People paid the price, and it was a long time ago, so we just got to let it go, I think.
Although not conceding he wants the senior job on a permanent basis, each week is now an audition for McVeigh. The latest comes on Sunday at Marvel Stadium, North Melbourne. McVeigh is up against the under siege David Noble, a coach from his junior days.
I think he was the inaugural coach of the Rams in the TAC, so we had him for a few years and certainly taught us the right way to play, and he had his way, and we had to fall in the line, and I enjoyed that coaching. It was really good.
Looking forward to it. I wouldn't have pictured that a long time ago when we were up in Canberra all those years ago.
Both now senior coaches, and both fighting to prove themselves.
Australia's wrapped up its T20 series against Sri Lanka with the game to spare, winning match 2 by 3 wickets. Kane Richardson took 4 for 30 as the hosts set a modest total of 124. Despite a middle-order collapse, Matthew Wade steadied the run chase, scoring a runner ball 26 to guide the Aussies home with 13 balls to spare. And Boston's hit the lead again in the NBA Finals. The Celtics dominating Golden State today, winning 116-100, taking a 2-1 lead in the best-of-7 series. To make matters worse for the Warriors, superstar Steph Curry was injured late in the game when a Boston player fell on his leg during a scramble for the ball. Amy Clements has your full weather report after the break. Amy, what's this I hear you saying about jumpers and scarves?
Well, PT, strap yourself in because tomorrow at 9 a.m. it'll be 21 degrees, but it will feel more like 14. I'll have your full forecast next.
Talk about airing your dirty laundry. The neighbourhood dispute hung out for all to see.
Did you cut the trees on his side?
No! A current affair next.
At Harvey Norman, get 60 months interest-free, no deposit, no interest with 60 approximately equal monthly payments from Latitude and receive a bonus gift card up to $1,000. That's a bonus $100 gift card for every $1,000 you spend on interest-free. Now at Harvey Norman.
Visit the top end and connect with our diverse Aboriginal culture.
Connect with country and learn about the spirits of the wetlands.
Visit Kakadu and learn about the history of rock art.
Come out to East Alligator River and I'll show you my land.
Connect with country and learn about the history of Arnhem Land.
Seeking different? Seek a top-end holiday guide and book your holiday at 6 Bennett Street, Darwin, or visit tourismtopend.com.au.
Get the most out of your outdoor living space this season with quality furniture, barbecue smokers, coolers, accessories and more from Barbecues Galore Darwin. With a wide range of great stock now available, come in and check out our extensive range, including the popular Ziggy series of portable barbecues. For all things outdoor living, you can trust the local experts at Barbecues Galore Darwin, Stewart Highway, Berrima, next to Amart. Step outside and live.
From first property search to first inquiry, first inspection to fourth bid. First on the dotted line to second investment. First home to third home. We put you first. Benefit firsthand from our local experience. First National Real Estate. We put you first.
Come see Bradnam's wide range of innovative products locally manufactured by Dabsco. Whether building, renovating or replacing existing products, we have the glass window or door solution to meet most applications. Top quality products and service is always our guarantee at Dabsco.
Tomorrow, it's a big kia ora to our favourite Kiwi, New Zealand PM Jacinda Ardern is dropping into our studio.
Plus, winter warmers, the best coats to beat the chill that won't break the bank, and the legend himself, Mick Fanning, is here. See you from 5:30.
This program is brought to you by NT Keno. Are you the Territory's next millionaire? Play today for your chance to win.
Hello again. It might have been a little bit delayed, but the dry season is well and truly upon us. Those winds pushing through at midnight, which meant a cooler, drier day for Darwin. The city reaching a top of 31 degrees, the humidity peaking at 59% early this morning, and right now it's around 30 degrees. Taking a look at the satellite, a southwesterly airstream continues over the southeastern part of the country with an embedded cold front. Across Australia tomorrow, sunny in Brisbane, 18, a top of 17 in Sydney, a very chilly 12 degrees for Canberra, shower or two in Melbourne, 14 there. Winter conditions for Hobart 2, 16 and rain on the way for Adelaide, and Perth is also in for a rainy day and 22. Back home now, 32 in Howard Springs, sunny and 29 in Katherine. Tennant Creek only set to reach 21 degrees, even cooler in Alice, 16, and similar conditions in Ulara. On the Darwin Harbour, seas below 1 metre, southeasterly winds 15 to 20 knots, a low tide of just over 3 metres at 8 in the morning, followed by a high tide of more than 5.5 metres at around 4 p.m. Looking at our catch of the day winner now, and today's winner is Territory tough Caden Robinson, who caught a monster of a queenfish off the beach at Dundee. Here he is with his uncle Zach, proudly showing off his prize catch. And we would love to see what you have reeled in, so please don't forget to send us your catch of the day entries to newsphotos@9.com.au. We can't wait to see them. 32 and sunny in Palmerston for tomorrow. The same temperature for Humpty Doo. Darwin can also expect sunny skies. And scanning ahead to the rest of the 7-day forecast, that sunshine will continue with temperatures around the 30 2-degree mark. Well, PT, looking at the rest of the country's forecast, Darwin definitely takes the cake for the best place to be right now. And the good news is that these dry conditions will continue through the long weekend.
Yeah, I heartily agree with that one. Thank you very much indeed, Amy. Well, investors have wiped billions of dollars off the big banks as they fear booming profits will soon come to an end. Here's Chris Kohler.
Banks have spent the last 2 days passing on Tuesday's rate hike to customers, but behind the scenes, their investors have been panicking. Since the rate hike, Commonwealth Bank has lost $14 billion, Westpac $8.5 billion, NAB almost $7 billion, and ANZ close to $4 billion in market value. A clear sign shareholders think the good times of booming property prices, ever-expanding mortgages and profits are ending. Elsewhere, Crown shares rose nearly 2% as its takeover took another step closer to happening, and energy stocks continue to climb the wall of worry amid the power crisis. And the Australian dollar slipped today, buying 71.7 US cents, 66.9 euro cents and 57.3 British pence.
Thank you, Chris. That is 9 News for this Thursday. I'm Paul Taylor from all of the team. Good night.